2025 to order at 6:01. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and Billy, if you could do roll call, please.
Here.
Here. Here.
Here.
Okay. If he should call in and join, just as a reminder, we'll have to do roll call on our votes. So. All right, public forum. Is anyone here for a public forum at all? All right, seeing nobody, will close public forum. And let's move on to the approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any changes, additions?
I'd like to remove 6.1 and 6.2 from the consent agenda
Okay,
and table them just for later meeting.
okay. Table to another meeting. And then I was also notified beforehand that we need to add an 8.5, which is going to be the Parks February 2025 approved minutes. We'll also change 12.3 road and bridge meeting. The next meeting will not be July 1st. It will be August 5th. And lastly, we'll add a 12.5, which is going to be the town board budget meeting. And that one will be July 1st at 5 p.m. Any other changes?
Looking.
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
All right, motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion passes 4-0. All right, consideration and approval of the consent agenda. We've had those 6.1, 6.2 removed. Any other changes? Hearing none, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda with those changes, with those two removed. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion passes 4-0. All right, moving right along, opening of the bids for RFPs. So I think the first one we have the street sweeping.
On the agenda, it's got bituminous crack filling, but we.
I was gonna save that till last, but okay. Yeah, so Billy was letting me know beforehand that we have not received any, so what we'll do is we'll extend that deadline out. This one isn't quite as critical because the last 2 years we haven't done our crack filling bids until late summer. So we're not really pressured into this one, so I would say that let's set a new date and make it, I would make that new date for our next board meeting or the one after, probably the one after. That I can't get the calendar up here. Make it like 4 o'clock before the first meeting in July.
The 8th of July.
Thank you. Clicked on my calendar and all I get is notifications. All right, so that's that one. And then street sweeping, Billy?
Bidder number 1 came in at 12,935. That is a fixed bid.
Okay.
Bidder number two came in at 8,500.
Okay,
Those are the two bids for streets.
great. So we got a $12,935 bid and an $8,500 bid. I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we accept bidder number two in the amount of $8,500. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Is there any more information besides the numbers, or is it just the numbers?
Usually in the bid, it'll also include the type of equipment that they're gonna use for the street sweeping. Whether it was as a Elgin street sweeper or whatever. Did you, do they have that listed on there, the equipment?
They both did, yes. So bidder number one listed Elgin Pelican High Dump Sweeper, 120-yard dump truck, 2 machines used total. And bidder number two said Freightliner truck mounted sweeper with rear broom and gutter brushes.
So if one includes a dump truck, is there a qualitative difference between these, like worth looking into? Because the other just included a sweeper, so they just sweeping it off into the ditch.
Yeah, it's, I don't know who either one of the bidders are. You know, sometimes they'll bring a dump truck out to go ahead of the sweeper and then they're dumping in as they're driving. And then other times they've brought in like a roll off and they'll usually park it here at the town hall. And then as they're sweeping, they'll come back and dump into the roll off rather than into a dump truck. It's usually the difference in the two. But how they remove it, how they transport it, that's up to them and part of their bid.
Sounds good.
Right, any other discussion?
No.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Roadside mowing.
We received 2 bids for this as well. Bid number one. Bid number one came in at $148 per hour. And lists equipment to be used as R240 disc mower, Alamo 24-foot boom mower, and brush cutter. Bid number two came in at $128 per hour. With equipment used would be John Deere tractor with ditch mower.
Okay. So on the equipment on bidder number one, did it list out 2 pieces of equipment or 1?
It says R240 offset disc mower, Alamo 24 boom mower, and brush cutter. So I'm assuming that's,
I think that's got 2. I think that's 2 separate pieces of equipment. One, if I remember right, is like a tractor that's got a side mower on it. The other one has a boom that they can reach around equipment. And on the other one, it was a John Deere
tractor with ditch mower.
with ditch mower. I think, I think that's one that is behind the tractor.
Neither one of them would be where they go and mow the trees, are they? I ended up with oak wilt in my alongside the road because they were mowing the trees several years
Um,
ago.
So this year, we do not have any of that type of
Okay.
brush cleaning planned.
Okay.
We'll be doing some brush cleaning in the ditches, but it'll be more of getting in there with saws, cut the stuff off at the right of way and then hauling it out. Yep. What are your thoughts? I kind of like the idea of two pieces of equipment, but it's $20 more an hour.
I guess the idea there would be that they might spend less hours total if they have two pieces of equipment. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, it's possible. I just know in some areas, a mower that hangs off the side can mow grass a lot quicker in the ditches. Than one that sits behind a John Deere. Usually one behind a John Deere does not spread the grass out as much either. So you usually get laid down weeds. The other thing is that the boom mower, that's what we used to contract here back some years ago. What's nice about that is it's got a big arm that goes up and down, and you can reach out around signs, guardrails. You can get behind guardrails without ever getting off the road. So it's a little bit better piece of equipment for ditch mowing, getting around.
I'd make a motion to approve the higher bid at 148 an hour with the two pieces of equipment.
Okay, there's a motion made. Is there a second? Is there a second? I'll second it for discussion. I don't want that to come off the list yet. What are your, Lisa and Andy, what are your thoughts?
Trying to go back to the bid proposal, was it a cap of hour, or how much are we talking total between scheduling of, are they doing two cuts this year, or is it just one time and they're doing all 56 miles once?
I don't remember what's in that specific bid. I think it's one time. I think it's one mowing.
How many guardrails do we have that we need to mow behind?
I don't know off the top of my head.
The township doesn't have,
I would say Ryan Lake Drive has one. East Martin Lake has one. It's more of around signs. Yeah, that would be about it. All right. Any other discussion?
I just got it. So it's not to start until after July 31st,
Right.
8 feet beyond. So it is just one mowing.
It's two passes. Yep.
And that-
Correct.
Are the monarchs usually done hatched by then?
Yeah, the lady with the monarchs, she communicates with us
Okay,
when we can do that road. Mhm. Yeah, she's already started that communications.
good.
Yeah. All right. All right, let's put this to a motion. So this is gonna be to accept bid number one at 148 an hour with two pieces of equipment.
Isn't there already a motion on the floor?
Yeah, I'm repeating the motion.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm just repeating the motion. All right, so that is the motion. So all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. And additional aggregate.
We received two bids for that. Bidder number one came in at a total quote of $77,573.50.
Five what? 577.
$77,573.50. Bid number two came in at $79,488.
Couldn't have got much closer on that one. So 77,573 versus 79,488. And the bid was for, or the RFP called out for graveling the roads, spreading it, and compacting it. So they're gonna be comparable bids, doesn't matter what equipment that they're using, that's gonna be comparable.
I make a motion to go with bid number one.
All right, all right, so the motion is to go with bidder number one for $77,573.50. It was seconded by Supervisor Lutke. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. All right, move on. Number 8. So this is just an acknowledgement of the committee meeting minutes. They included Road and Bridge Committee from May 6th, Planning and Zoning Committee from May 20th, Parks from January, Parks from February, and Parks from March. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second? Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Recycling.
So we're working on it. We'll possibly have to readjust our prices for some of our recycling back there. They're looking at upping some of the prices. So we're working on, I was hoping to have it all done. Should I
Yeah, I mean,
get,
yeah, we'll reevaluate some of the vendors and suppliers and things are going. We want to make sure that township's not underwater and just covering the cost of processing. So
Super.
we had one reach out and said they're gonna charge a little more to take it and stuff, so. We haven't evaluated the prices, so we'll probably have something here in the coming meeting to just reapprove everything of where we're at, because we also the tire stuff too with,
yeah, there
So-
might be issues with because they've picked up 600 tires so far or a little more.
Wow. Wow.
And when I called to them, they're going, well, so mosquito control was having some issues.
Okay. Well, as far as I've been on the board, I don't remember our pricing really changing at all on recycling, so we're probably due. So, all right, so it'll come back to a future meeting. All right, thank you for the update. Number 10, old business. 10.1, meeting prayer.
So thought it through. My opinion, hearing everybody talk about it, I think the best compromise is a moment of silence. I don't have anything written for today to approve. I'll write it up for next week for the final verbiage of whatever that may be for a final vote to put it to rest.
Okay, so you'll bring to the next meeting, policy then?
Yep.
Okay. Sounds great. All right, 10-2, website update.
We have a meeting this Friday with Civic Plus. They've been challenges with scheduling. So what's in the packet is the information that we're still going with. So by all means, please look at the vendor stuff provided if you have any questions, but just an update of where we're at right now. So
Perfect, thank you.
And then I have something to add as well. We'll keep it brief, but at the last meeting, I'd said that I'd spoken on behalf of Natalie, which is a bad habit. And I said some things that I said that she said some things that she doesn't agree that she said. So I just wanted to reiterate a couple of them. I said that she liked the demo with Civic Plus, that she's hesitant about moving vendors because of the amount of work that would be. And those two things she doesn't agree with. To avoid making the same mistake twice, I won't speak on her behalf on what I do think she was saying, but I'll just reiterate that when it comes time to make the final decision, we're just going to bring her in and let her speak for herself.
Beautiful, thank you. All right, lawn mowing. So this one we tabled from the last meeting. So our clerk talked to both companies a little bit. And we were able to kind of get down to, I got down to what I think is very comparable apples to apples. First of all, going through and looking up the companies, quite honestly, Linwood would be very well served by either company, very reputable. Can't say enough good about both of them. Each one of them met the requirements that were in the RFP, for like liability insurance, the type of equipment that they use, their ability to schedule and get to our parks in a timely way. Where I seen the differences was, and this was based on 20 weeks of mowing. We're actually going to be down to 18 after this meeting. But based on 20 weeks of mowing, just to keep things the way they had them listed. Bidder one, and let me preface by saying that the RFP was broke up into two sets of properties. One that I defined as essential properties, so that would be the majority of the parks. The three parks that were not included in the essential properties, and I named those alternate properties, was across the street at Broadbent, Fairway Flyer, or no, the township property right around the building, and the cemetery. Those were the three that were alternates. So the intent was that they would give us a price for doing each one of them. And if we had to control our cost on the bids, we could alternatively choose to either do them in-house or contract them. So that's the difference between essential and alternate properties. So for bidder one, the essential properties was bid out at $18,800. The three alternate properties were bid for an additional $16,000. So the total bid for bidder one was $34,800. Looking at bidder two, the essential properties was bid at $54,000. The alternative properties were at $25,000 for a total bid of $79,000. So you're looking at, a $34,800 bid versus a $79,000 bid. And like I said, both of them have availability. Both of them actually really, really want the contract with Linwood. But I really think, given everything that I look through, it really kind of comes down to cost. So, and you're looking at one that's about half the cost of the other one. So now I think this is kind of a two-part question. As one is, we wanted these bids for a couple of reasons. One was to compare against what it would be if we did it internally, what the cost would be, to see if it made sense or not. And then if it did make sense, number two was to award a bid and get our grass getting cut. When you're looking at comparables, if you just figured out the wages that it would cost us to pay out, based on what we were doing before, we used to have 2 employees seasonal. They worked 3 8-hour days a week. So that's a total of 48 hours. One was making $23 an hour, another one was making, I think, $21 an hour. When you do the math on their hours in a year, they would have been over $50,000 in wages. They're also then eligible for unemployment being a seasonal employee. So that's over the top. The other things too is that we'd have to use our mowers. And Andy and I can attest to the fact that they do need maintenance. One's getting very tired, one broke down on us when we were mowing, so there's that constant maintenance cost. The blades usually only last 3 mowings and have to be replaced. So you're going through a lot of blades, plus all the fuel, plus all the oil. So there's a lot of additional costs that goes into doing it in-house over the cost of the wages. So given the bids, I actually think the higher bid is probably closer to comparable to what we put out every year. Probably not quite that much, but probably pretty comparable. So to me, the one for 35,800 is, I think, a heck of a deal, to be honest with you, for the township. I think it makes a lot of sense for us to look at contracting that out this year. It's a 1-year bid, so we can see how it goes. If it goes really well, we can look at doing something different for next year and extending it out. So thoughts?
Well, the residents want us to save money.
Yep.
Were those 2 employees, were they exclusively mowing?
Yes.
Then
Yep.
that seems pretty plain.
Yeah. All right. I think it makes sense to go with a contractor this year. So I'm going to make a motion that we accept bidder number 1 to do all essential properties and the alternate properties for a total of $34,800. And we will start that contract effective immediately.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion passes. So Billy, if you want to do notification tomorrow. Thank you. All right, that moves us on to number 11, parks.
So, we were, the parks was approached in February 25th. When they came and presented the information to the board on the 26th meeting. So for that, everyone, all the board members were in favor of proceeding with that. We got a phone call or a message from the people that were volunteering to do this the Sunday before they needed the supplies the following Saturday. I called and got some quotes. Most of them could not deliver them until Monday or Tuesday. There was only one that could donate it or bring it on. He dropped it off on Thursday. The gravel was $500. I would like to make a motion to approve that $500 for the gravel.
Okay, so you got a motion on the table. So I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay, so motion on the table to pay the $500 for the 19 tons of class 5 that was delivered last weekend,
Last Thursday.
last Thursday.
They were there on Saturday and they got more work done on Saturday than what they planned. So then now they'll just be going out, periodically, a couple of them at a time and finishing up the work. So they put in some new so they needed the gravel for the base to where you would tee off.
Yep.
And then around the posts and all that. And so they.
All right, perfect. All right, so the motion is to approve the $500 for class 5. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion passes 4-0. Yep, come on up, Chris.
I just have a question. Is it common practice to have it delivered, purchased, and laid out prior to getting authorization or approval?
The board can spend up to a board member can spend up to $1,000 a day.
So you've done that, then, and the mulch too, that was also, or was
That was free. That was from the township.
Okay. The trees that were cut down, I know you were concerned with the, oak wilt on your own property. Was that a consideration at there?
Yes.
Okay, so that was taken care of, treated? They treated that oak wilt that was cut and that, or the oak trees that were cut?
If a tree is dead and has all the bark off, they will no longer spread. The beetles are already out of the tree. It's only fresh cuts for oak wilt. So if you cut a tree, a live tree that has no damage to it, and you cut a branch off while the beetles are active, that is how the beetles get into the tree.
The other question that I had regarding that particular topic is the brush that was cut and the pine trees that were cut. And those are still laying there. Is there plans?
We will be picking them up and bring them to the recycle. Yes.
And I don't know, did you give your address, Chris? Okay, thank you. All right.
John.
Oh, yeah, come on up. Oh, you'll have to say it
have
in the
to-
microphone. Sorry.
Did the board ever officially approve this proposal? I've gone back and looked, I've been told to look at YouTube, I have looked, I have never seen an official, yes, we approve this project. Can you tell me if that happened?
February 25th. We were all, there was not a vote, but they were told to go ahead, go forward with it.
It was a consensus of the board.
Consensus.
It was a consensus of the board. Sam wasn't on at that point, so the four of us all said that yes, we would. Mhm.
And did anyone consider where the people are going to? Park? There are two, maybe three, if you squeeze them in, parking spots. Our neighborhood is going to be bombarded with these cars that are going to be coming to play. North Branch, I've done the research on this. North Branch has lead play every Saturday from 8 to 8. From 8 in the morning till 8 at night. Now, you know how many, they have 200 and some members. And you really think that's going to be appropriate for that little? And I don't even care if it's just someone. Where are they going to? Do you have a budget to put in the parking lot? Are you going to take somebody's land next door?
So talking with them, they will have the league that they do. It's only like 10 or 15 people. And they said the parking lot is about the same size as the Wildcat one where they also play. And they said there might be 1 or 2 cars that would have to be on the road, but they should be able.
I checked with. Theirs is behind the playground. And they say they feel there's their parking. So there are a lot of traffic. There is a lot of. I don't know how they could say, okay, so they're gonna have 2 or 3 players. So what if somebody from Linwood decides to play? So now I decide to walk down the block, or where do I park? I can't play, but I've got the North Branch people playing, but there's no room for I can't play. My husband can't play. We used to play down there, but we will no longer be eligible. We won't have a place to park, and we will have to make arrangements with the North Branch, this people. They are a national organization, and they are out there publicized to their clients to come and use our park. That is the only park in Linwood that is nationally advertised to come and play. And I've been told St. Paul will be sending people, Minneapolis will be sending up people. So we'll wait, okay? We hooked up here for the simple reason to get away from the people from St. Paul and Minneapolis. These are 18 to 20-year-old kids that are the most common players. So I don't think the public really understands what this is. I have no problem with you fixing up the park, not at all. But our neighborhood had no idea this was happening. And that is exactly why I went around the neighborhood and gave them a flyer. I said, this is what is happening. Need to know. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your comments. I just scrolled through because I went through this brochure that they handed out before. And I can't find any place in here where they've talked about running leagues or tournament. So,
Can
And-
I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
yes,
Very-
1 second, Mary.
Um,
Go ahead,
I
Sam.
talked
1 second,
with
Mary.
Jeremy.
Mary, 1 second.
I have a quick question, which is there any, I went back and looked and I asked, but it seems like they could have advertised and played their league here before we cleaned it up.
Yeah, because it was already listed on their site.
Yeah,
But it wasn't,
Listen, I don't think.
very cool. They admit it was not safe. It was not safe to play. They would never have suggested any of their players. Their players pay them money to play. And they also paid for optional holes. So it's not just your neighborhood kids throwing a disc around.
So it was not safe for our residents either.
Yeah.
So it was not safe for our residents either. The bridge,
Make them safe. What I'm not of is all this parking congestion, and that is exactly what's gonna happen.
I guess my question, what I'm trying to get at is like, we approved making the park safe, which it sounds like we kind of agree on. I can't find any sort of approval or asking them to advertise it. That's kind of their own volition. So,
But if you look at their proposal, they are going to, one of the deliverables from Linwood is that they will tell you how they want the grass cut and how often they want the grass cut. So in your proposal for the grass, and you say they're non-essential, Linwood is on the hook for them to come in, and Linwood has to cut grass on their direction. And that was on their proposal. If you didn't read that, I read it. I know it's there. So I think there's more that needs to be looked at here. I really do. You figure it out, but that's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, when we walked that before they started any work, the mowing really wasn't any different other than on hole 1. Hole 1 was gonna be stretched to the south about 15 feet. But otherwise, the mowing is gonna be done the same as it's always been done, which is part of our mowing contract. Oh, you gotta get closer to the microphone.
Proposal, it says they will give you directions on how they want it mowed. It's not a straight mow. These are golf tees, so they want this mowed in a certain direction. You look at their deliverables from Linwood, and it's right on it. So consider it.
And it's
Yeah.
about 8 feet wider.
All right, thank you.
So there's difference, that's all.
All right, thank you. Did you want to come up? Yes. Yeah,
So in regards to the advertising for the disc golf, it's already been advertised on their website or on their app. Sorry, it's really loud. I'm echoing. For the most part, every single disc golf course in Minnesota is probably on their app. I know right now it's advertised as Ponds of Linwood, which we're trying to figure out how that came about. It's not listed as Fairway Flyers. And the organization came to us, which I've explained, the organization came to us with a need to update that park. Like Lisa said, the park was not safe even for our Linwood residents. It's not ideal for disc golfers. The park was put in by Fairway Flyers, which is a disc golf organization for the intent for disc golf, which is amazing. Over time, obviously, it has been neglected because we haven't had the manpower to be able to continue with the maintenance that it needs. So when the organization came to us and said, hey, we are a nonprofit organization, we have done other properties around your area, helped them upgrade it. We've been to your field, we can't play it. I know people personally who disc golf, who teach kids how to disc golf and said, we can't play your field. We would love to be able to bring kids out there to play disc golf or whatever it is, but we can't, it's unusable. So when the organization came to us, we we're like, yes, this is amazing. Little cost to us. They are experts. They know what to do. They have the manpower, the material, and the ability to be able to, remove whatever trees it is or do whatever they have to do to make it safe for everybody. So for us, it was a no-brainer. We have a very small budget to be able to maintain all of our parks. We have a lot of parks. Everyone complains about how our parks need repair. We are well aware of that. So when we are offered help for very little cost, we're going to, of course, take it. And yes, there may be some people, leagues that are going to come out and play that course. Their leagues are maybe 10 to 15 people. That's no different than me bringing a group of friends going out there to park. We all drive separately. We all live in separate houses. We're all going to drive, there's going to be cars there eventually at some point. I'm going to read part of an email from, this is Joel, and he said, I'm going to read it word for words just so then I don't make any mistakes. He said, the NBDGA does not plan to organize tournaments at Fairway Flyers Park. We wouldn't plan to do a tournament at a 9-hole course. However, we may have a rotating league occasionally play this course. Our local NBDGA league is pretty casual. We don't have signups. We have historically done these on Tuesday evenings or Saturday mornings at some of our other courses. We usually get 10 to 15 players for our leagues, and the events would be less than 2 hours on duration. We have parking for 10 cars at Wildcat Woods, and this has always been enough. If an occasional league at Fairway Flyers is not viable, we have 3 other courses in the area we can rotate through. To the initial question on parking lot sizes, I do think it would be beneficial if the area southwest of the gate would be leveled with gravel to provide parking for 5 to 7 cars. We haven't looked into that by any means, but I don't know. But so regardless, I don't think it would be nice of us to say, hey, yes, come redo our park, but you can't use it. That's not okay. That's disrespectful in my eyes, saying come do all this work for free, basically, but your league can't use it. And I understand the neighborhood has not had a lot of traffic because no one can really use that besides, kids walking or whatever it is, however it's used right now. But the intent is for disc golf, and that's what it's going to be used for. And we're excited to be able to update one of our major parks that we have that people haven't been able to use for a very long time.
Thank you, Sarah.
No.
Yeah. Chris, come on up.
Question.
Your name again.
Quick question, disrespectful. When we built Betcher Park, I was on the park board when we built Betcher Park. And when we did that, we did notify all of the neighbors, and we took surveys and we got input from the neighbors. That is something that you guys did not even consider, because the majority of neighbors had no idea what was going on. No idea.
The park is already there though, and we're
Right,
updating
no, I
it.
understand, but you're
Right.
talking about disrespect, and I'm saying that if you're gonna be redoing it where there's going to be a level of, Andy, stop rolling your eyes.
Ma'am, we're talking about something that we just keep going back and forth
I
on.
mean, this is something that some neighbors and some residents are really passionate about. And if you can't respect that.
I can, and I had lots of conversations with the neighbors last night, and we're just going back and forth with people here.
There is nothing that the neighbors have concerns about with, I mean, you had mentioned something online. None of that is the concern. Bettering the park, not the concern. North Branch, not the concern. The concern is how is it going to affect the immediate neighbors? And that is the traffic issue. So if there's a parking lot availability, I didn't know anything about that. That's fantastic. We can get that parking lot or get something figured out for a parking lot. I don't know how you're gonna afford it yet, but If you can get something figured out for a parking lot, that's fantastic. That's what we're talking about here, is the safety of the kids, the safety of the neighbors, and the people who are going to be bringing the traffic in. If it's funneled right over there. perfect. But those neighbors didn't know anything about it.
It was presented to a town board, which is live and recorded. In my opinion, I mean, we haven't had to do that for any of the parks that we've done upgrades to. I understand it's in the neighborhood and it's gonna affect people with cars, but
Yep.
it's not our protocol. That, as far as I know, I've been on the board for 5 years, so,
Right.
Can I ask a question?
so.
Okay,
I'm genuinely confused. It sounds like nobody disagrees that the park ought to have been fixed up. And so then I guess starting today, what are you guys asking us to do? Are you asking us to go to going to NBDGA to ask them not to play? I don't know if we're allowed to do that. I guess I'm confused on what the ask is.
That's what I'm confused on. What? It's a public park.
Right. It's a public park, it's a public street. Anyone can use it from St. Paul to St. Cloud to Rochester to anybody. Anybody can go to any park. It's a public park.
but Chris,
I think what the ask is that the neighbors would have been consulted, which they weren't. And I think that the ask is that their opinions be part of the creation of all of this before it was done. I mean, you guys obviously did it before you even got approval for the gravel. That was all delivered. So that's kind of what I think the concern is that there wasn't any insight from the neighborhood. So, and, you know, I know that you have concerns with the disrespect of not, going back to North Branch, and I agree, 100,000%. No, we're not gonna tell them that there be no leak, but I would ask that same respect from our own.
all right,
Okay, so there is extra gravel that we can, because they needed 10 yards. I got 16 yards with the intent that, because it was under the $1,000 that was mentioned at the board meeting, that we could use that for the parking lot. I would also like to request a sign for the gate, to spend some money for a sign so that, have closing at dusk. And then some of the neighbors adjoining to it will have no trespassing signs up, that they respect the no trespassing signs and to call the number on them, and they can retrieve their disc at that way so that they do not have to go onto the resident's property.
Point of clarification on approvals. Board members they spent what they had in approval, and it was a point of transparency, bringing it before the board that this activity happened. This is what we are delegated within our committees to keep business running in between meetings. So it wasn't that there was no approval for it. It was appreciative that it came forth at a board meeting.
thank you, Mandy. As far as the sign goes, if you can work with Billy, because we have kind of a normal sign that we would go with.
Okay,
And probably the same company, if you need to look it up or something, holler. But work with Billy on the sign and what you'd want it to
Okay.
say and look like.
mhm,
And then she can get an estimate on it,
Okay.
and then you can bring
Okay, all right.
back to the board.
okay.
Oh, all right. Anything else on this topic before we move on?
Attend meetings.
Mhm.
Follow.
All right.
That's all I have.
Sarah, I don't know if we got your name on the record,
No,
Sarah
Sarah
Nelson.
Park Board.
Okay, thank you. All right. All right, we will move on to number 12, which is the upcoming meeting. So we've got Planning and Zoning Committee meeting on June 17th. We have a Parks meeting on June 23rd. We have Road and Bridge that will be coming up on August 5th, a couple of months out. Cemetery Committee meeting is going to be July 9th. Is that a 10 a.m. meeting still?
Yes,
Okay, so that'll be 10 a.m. And then we've got a town board budget meeting, which will be a special meeting that is scheduled for,
Workshop.
so I'm sorry, workshop, thank you. Workshop, and that's July 1st at 5 p.m.
yes.
And then our next regular town board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, June 24th at 6 o'clock. Did I miss anything? Everything good? Okay. All right, get to move on to number 13, adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion's been
Oh,
made.
wait,
So
oh. I withdraw my
Second.
motion.
draw your
I
second.
withdraw my second.
Come on up, chief. Who are you?
Just remind,
Who are you?
just a reminder that starting June 25th is site work for the generator and power will be shut down. At 9:30. The only thing that'll be affected, the senior center, public works. Anything in the back will be affected, so I'm not sure you have to get everybody involved, let them know that.
Okay.
Fire department will start site work on the 30th and
Great.
just a reminder.
Thanks, chief. Appreciate it. All right.
One more.
Oh, come on up.
You want to sit, you can.
55092. The new sign, the Linwood Community sign is awesome. You know what?
I don't know if we've got a date for that yet.
Not seen any.
Yeah, there's,
Did a 5-year plan at the annual meeting. Talked about what they were planning to do in this 5-year plan, same with parks, same with maintenance on. Everybody had a 5-year plan. Five-year plan. It probably hasn't had any opportunity. They would be. I would try to about this. Our review. Money has been tight.
Judy, can you, you're not picking up here. Can you speak
Might
into
have
the
to pull
mic?
the
You're not
mic
picking
down.
up. There you go. Now you are.
I don't know if we can. I don't know if we can publicly speak on that. Yeah,
It's our tax. That.
yeah.
Yeah, it's in the claims if we are, and we're not. Usually in the packet, that shows everybody where all the dollars for the township go.
Thank you, Judy.
All right. I make a motion to adjourn.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
I.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries